My name is Noam Miller. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and since 2017, my family and I have been living here in Berlin.
Being Jewish to me is everything. The way I live and the way I breathe and the way I raise my children.
The most beautiful thing that I have in my life is the fact that I was able to have a Jewish education.
It is a link to my history and to a religion that spans thousands of years.
That's why I came to Berlin, as I wanted to give people the opportunity to learn, to experience, and to also tap into that beauty, into those values.
I am Miriam Miller. I am a teacher in the Laurusstern High School here in Berlin, and I also work for Morasha, which my husband directs.
My current position is I'm the director of Morasha Germany, as well as I also help run a gap year program called J Academy for European Jewish students. In Berlin, it's very easy to live a Jewish life. It depends on what your expectations are. But as far as being able to raise a Jewish family and have them go to a Jewish school and have a synagogue that provides the services that you need and access to kosher food, definitely is not to the level that you could receive in Jerusalem or even in Los Angeles. And down the block from us was probably 40, 50 kosher restaurants. So here there's not, but all that does is it sort of like makes you focus on what's important. It's your children, it's the people that you're around, and so thank God our children are able to have a great Jewish life here, and we're able to be around great Jewish people, even if we're not sitting together and having pizza.
It was very difficult for me because this was so ingrained in me from my childhood, and I was very hesitant about coming to it. It was sort of anywhere in Europe but Germany. That was kind of what I was open to, but God had other plans. When we first got married, we moved to Jerusalem, and that was kind of expected. Not expected in my family, but very much expected of me.
Many people in America grow up with German taboo.
We never bought any German products. We never stopped in Germany. It was very extreme home. So coming to Germany was a big deal for my parents and my family. My parents' comments were, that's fine, but I'm never gonna visit you there. Because whereas Noam's parents just wanted us closer and this was still far, I grew up in a very, I don't want to say anti-German home, but there was a lot of Holocaust going on, where my father knew of his father's cousin that came over and lived with them a bit.
But I think because my family didn't really have a connection that close to the Holocaust and to the destruction of Europe, so I didn't grow up with any of these like anti-German taboos.
So like my family, it took a while to come around. My family has come visited now, they've spent time here, there's no problem now. And in fact, they're very supportive that we're here and the work we're doing.
I think also a big difference between Jewish life in Los Angeles and Jewish life here is here, because it's small, you matter. If I don't show up to an event, people notice and people say, hey, where are you? What's going on? Because it's a small community, everybody feeds off of each other.
I love this community. I really do. I wish I could put it in my pocket and take it wherever I go, because there's such a care here. The first time my daughter spoke in German, I was like, whoa. But now I realize I think it's more shocking just because she's so foreign than she's German. So I'm completely okay being here.
I don't have that much interaction with general German society. I live in a Jewish neighborhood, I work with Jews. In this neighborhood where we are, I'll wear a kippah from here to where I live, but if I'm going to Veding or Alexanderplatz or farther out, so I put on a cap. It's not that I feel unsafe, I feel uncomfortable. It's just that everybody watches you and everybody stares at you. To be honest, I enjoy not feeling comfortable wearing a kippah because I am a diaspora Jew. I live in exile, and part of Judaism is that we have this belief that we will one day go back. I think that's a good reminder that I don't feel comfortable here, and I feel that Jews, the more they feel comfortable living in the land, the more assimilated they become. Well, there should be some type of healthy uncomfortability. at least in my circumstance, I didn't decide to become a rabbi. It was just something that kind of happened. You know, when I was a child, once I realized that I wasn't going to be a basketball player, from a very early age, I decided that I wanted to get into education. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be a professor. I wanted to teach in university. I wanted to teach history, linguistics, or something that was interesting to me. And then I wanted to go after high school to yeshiva in Israel for a year, which was very common from my background. When I was in Israel, I was really enjoying my Jewish learning, and it became real and alive to me. Instead of teaching Irish history or something random like that, I would like to teach Jewish studies. And then I reflected on my life, and I felt that the most beautiful thing that I have in my life is the fact that I was able to have a Jewish education and brought up in a home with Jewish values. That's why I came to Berlin, as I wanted to give people the opportunity, to give people the option to learn, to experience, and to also tap into that beauty, into those values that I find so treasurable. Whether it's bowling or actually a class, there's still something to learn from it. So that's what I do there. I can't answer people's questions. Everyone has to answer their own questions, but to help guide and to sort of walk them through life decisions. So whether it's through WhatsApp, whether it's having a beer or a coffee with people, that's kind of also what a rabbi has to do.
On the flip side, sometimes I get nervous about being the wife because I know how much I respect the wife of our rabbi and how amazing I think she is and how much I look up to her, and I go, do people do that to me too? Because that's a little intimidating. But I just try and be honest and authentic and myself. The first time someone called me a Rebbetzin, like the wife of a rabbi, was very weird. And I was like, don't call me that. Because to me also, the Rebbetzins were always these much older, much more knowledgeable, much more respected women. I was like, oh, no, not me. I don't need a title. I just want to be me. I want to be Miriam. If you want to ask Miriam for advice, happy to share. I want to be known more for the advice I can give you and what I can do and what I bring to the table than because of a title. Especially if it's a title that I'm getting because of what my husband's work that he's put in. I want it to be because of who I am as a person. When growing up and getting ready to get married, I always knew I was going to cover my hair. And I feel it's my crown. At points I was like, oh, but I miss my hair. I love my wig. It's so easy getting ready for an event. I'm like, I shower, I put on my makeup, I put on my wig, I'm ready to go. And I'm proud to show my children that that's not a burden to me. It's something I take pride in because I am a wife, I am a mother. There's no reason not to have a good time. Being Orthodox and religious does not mean you forget how to have fun and you forget how to enjoy things. It's more of understanding for yourself what is your identity, what is your place, what is appropriate for you, at what moment. I go to an all-women's gym. I go skiing. I love ice skating. I think it's important to know who we are as individuals because sometimes within the home or with kids, we get swallowed up by the homework, the dinner, the laundry, the cleaning, everything that has to get done. And it's important to take time for us as women as well. Personal time, whether that's going to the gym or getting a manicure or going for a walk or reading a book or taking a bath or whatever it is that helps us refocus. We definitely need that because the better we are as a person, the better mother and wife will be. You just can't do that to sacrifice the others. Once you enter a marriage and you start a family, you're making a commitment. And this commitment's not one that, oh, it's inconvenient right now for me. Things happen sometimes that you miss dinner time, you miss whatever it is. It happens, but you shouldn't be setting this trend of, I have you, but this is what I want to do. But if it's a balance, I find extreme fulfillment from my teaching and from my work.
You just need to have a strong marriage. You need to have a strong relationship with your children. You need to be able to schedule in time for just the kids and just the family. But it is a challenge, but I also feel that the work brings out the beauty of the family. Nun, Shin, Yud, Hey, Ma'am, you did that one. Very good job. What's after Nishem?
I think the most important in raising children anywhere you live is stability in the home. They have to see stability in the home and they have to see love. They have to know that they're loved. They themselves are good. They themselves have a good neshama, a good soul. They have to know that they're created in the image of God and that we love them just because they're our children.
Orthodoxy might have a bad reputation of being archaic, being old-minded. So my response with that will be to come have a coffee and see what it's like.
I try and teach them that everything that happens comes from God. And we're trying to find the best side of it. That everything happens for a reason, even if we don't know what that reason is. The importance of thinking, of evaluating, of making connections, of memories, because all that will build on each other and eventually will come to, the crux and the meat and the important things. Right now they need to get the feel of what it means to be Jewish.
But it's a process. That's what our people have done. Our people have gone from place to place to place. And it takes time. It takes a few generations. And here it's relatively young. 1990, there weren't that many Jews living here. Now there are. And that's only 30 years. It takes a while for cultural things to grow and to mature.
There's so many different paths to Orthodox Judaism. I like to think of it like an umbrella where you have Torah and God at the top. So we're all following the same set of rules. And then it's like an umbrella. And it all comes down at these different areas. Each point that the umbrella comes to is a little different flavor, a little different something. We're taking a little different twist. The Torah, we're told, has 70 different faces to it, that there are 70 different interpretations you can take. And I always think of it like a diamond. That a diamond, the cut is very important. And the finer the cut and the more cuts it has, lets in more light. And that's the Torah. The more we open it up, the more the light comes from it, and the more it's beautiful to us. And as long as we're appreciating all these different points in the umbrella, we're not knocking any of them. We're all working, again, to the same Torah to just illuminate it, to help show us how to live our life better.